What's up, action takers, the community of doers? I hope you're doing okay. Episode 9, week 9, 52 weeks, here we come. No matter what a man says, it is what he does in the end that he intends to do all along. Now, today I want us to look at a very important aspect of life that you have to incorporate in this journey of us looking at life from a different perspective. And I want to look at being a man of your words. Why is it important? And why does that form an important aspect about our lives that we should care about? To begin with, I would like to ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and this is going to allow us to continue creating this community of like-minded individuals who believe in personal development to be part and parcel of our day-to-day lives. Now, why is being a man of your words important to our day-to-day lives? Or rather, why is being a man of your words very important to you living an unconventional life? Now, I want to look at several things here. First of all, being a man of your words inherently begins with you respecting your own words to yourself. I'm going to read a statement that Jordan Peterson gave at some point. And this is how it goes. The person you have to spend the most time listening to is yourself. Try not to lose that respect. Self-respect and self-esteem, I think, largely comes to you having faith in your own words. In a nutshell, it's just a statement to explain that the person that you'll spend the most time listening to in your life is yourself. The most important conversation you ever have is a conversation with yourself. Try not to lose that respect. And he gave an example that if you were to invite a friend out, probably to just have some coffee or just for an outing, and every time that friend is turning you down, and he does not even tell you in advance or give an apology for acting that way, after some times, you will stop being friends with that person, you will stop inviting them out, and eventually you will not be friends with them. Now, look at that as being yourself. If every time you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it, you lose that respect to yourself. And to summarize that, is that self-discipline, self-respect, and self-confidence comes from you having faith in your own word. And how do you have faith in your own word? Is by being authentic. And by being authentic, I mean doing what you say you're going to do. So in this episode, as we look at being a man of your words, it begins from inside. If you believe in what you say, by doing exactly what you said you're going to do, that allows you to translate even to people that you interact with. But if you do not have faith in your own word, by doing what you said you're going to do, it's difficult for you to even keep your word to other people. So what are we seeing here? That the primary respect of others by honoring your promises and honoring your commitments begins by honoring your own commitments. If you don't develop the ability to do what you say you're going to do, you will never have the self-confidence to succeed in any environment. Now, there are 3 attributes that I want to look at that explains the aspect of being a man of your words. And one of them is consistency. People to develop trust in you being a man of your words, the primary aspect is for you to be consistent by doing what you said you are going to do. It have to take time. This is not something that happens overnight. Being termed as a man of your own words is a consistent proof of you doing what you say you are going to do. And that applies to yourself and also to others. The second one is honesty. It goes with no explanation. You have to do what you said you're going to do. It means you're honest with the promises and you're honest with the deliberations that you make with people. Self-explanatory. The third one is reliability. You have to be reliable. If you can be able to perform the first and the second well, then the third one is inevitable. If you're consistent in doing what you said you're going to do, and you're honest in the deliberations or the promises that you're making, then it goes with no say, you are reliable. A person can rely on you. Now, what are the importance? To what advantage do you sit or do you obtain by being a man of your words? It is just not a bunch of words or just reinforcing a concept that has no meaning in our day-to-day lives. Let's look at 2 or 3 importance of being a man of your words. To yourself and to others. I keep on reinforcing on that aspect. The first one is trust building. We say that trust is gained. And how do you gain trust to yourself and to other people? It is the unlimited proof that you demonstrate as a trustworthy person. So, one of the ways that you can build trust to yourself and to others is by being a man of your words, doing what you say you're going to do. The second one is your reputation. I bet you don't want to be termed as the person who don't keep the promises and the compliments. You want to be termed as the person who is your reputation has to be very exceptional. And we know how important your reputation is to the success of any endeavor. The third one is self-respect. And this one largely entails being a man of your own words to yourself. How you obtain respect to yourself is by respecting the words that you say to yourself. If you set to do something and don't do it, with time, over time, you lose self-respect. But if you're very radical in doing everything to the latter that you said you're going to do, then that develops and enhances the self-respect that you have to yourself. There are other advantages, but let me restrict myself to those 3. But I can go on and on and on and on the importance of being a man of your words to yourself and to others. Now, what are some of the strategies can you use to achieve the aspect of being a man of your words or being authentic? Because authenticity is when your action reflects your words. When your action reflects exactly what you said you're going to do, then that's when we achieve authenticity. Your words and the actions are aligned. How can we achieve that? How can we achieve that? It is a journey, it is a process. But let me share with you so that we can be able to understand what we can be able to do. And the first what I want to look at is make realistic promises. Assess the promises that you're making to make sure that where you sit, you have the capabilities to execute on them. So make realistic promises. There is a small trick here to yourself and to others, which I think to others, just make realistic promises. Don't try to go beyond. Make realistic. But when it comes to yourself, be realistic, but at the same time, don't concentrate too much on your comfort zones. But a disclaimer on that is, do whatever it takes, your best to try and achieve what you set to do. I believe you need to go a little bit beyond so that you can push yourself beyond your limits, but don't do that and then just sit back. You can also gain self-respect by giving it your all towards what you want to achieve. But when it comes to other people, your reputation is at stake. So you better set realistic promises. The second one that I want to look at is communicate clearly. Communicate clearly. Be very clear about what you're setting yourself for. What are you telling the other person that you are going to do? So that there is a very clear understanding of what you have indicated that you're going to do and what exactly you're going to do. It should not be a discussion of this is what I had said and this is what that one now starts to bring trust issues. Communicate what you're going to do clearly so that you can be able to follow it to the latter without again coming back to you. The third thing that I want to look at is to follow through what you said you're going to do. It is just not about mouthing the action that you're going to take. It's about mouthing the answers, and then they have to be followed by very, very intentional action towards acting on your words. Intentional action that are acting on the execution of your own words. The fourth is acknowledge your mistakes. I have to say that we are not perfect. Even if we are trying to our level best to be people of our own words, we are human beings and we are prone to mistakes. That should not hold you back. You should be relentless. Don't make stupid mistakes or don't make obvious mistakes. But if in the case of that happening, it shouldn't hold you back. Acknowledge your mistakes and do something about it. The fifth that I want to look at, and the last one, is reflect and improve. Reflect and improve. You have to improve on those mistakes that you find yourself making. If you make a mistake and you call yourself to book, and you analyze and you see what went wrong and you change, you make an intentional change, then you move on. So reflect and improve. I think those are some of the strategies that we can use to allow us to achieve the self-respect to us and towards others. Now, let me look at 2 or 3 people who have mentioned some very important lessons that we can learn from as I wind up. And the first person that I'm going to look at is Albert Einstein. And this is what he said. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. If you cannot keep your word with the small things, you cannot be trusted with the big things. It goes back to, you have to first conquer the simple things before you even think of taking those life-changing decisions you want to take. Something simple like keeping time towards your meeting or your work. If you cannot simply keep time, how do you expect to hit quarterly targets and yearly targets if you cannot just get on time? That is just an example, but there's so many other examples that we can look at. If you cannot tell yourself that you're not going to snooze the alarm that you've set and actually wake up at that time, how do you expect that you're gonna wake up and achieve that monumental goal that you have set for your life? So you can actually measure your probability of achieving the big goals that you're setting yourself for. And how do you measure that probability? Is by your ability to set, or your ability to keep your word on the small matters that may appear mundane, but you tend to ignore them. Let me look at somebody else who I think has really contributed on this. Tony Robbins. And this is what he said. It is not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives. It's what we do consistently. I've said this time and again, many times without number, that success is hidden in your daily routine. It's what you do on a day-to-day basis that contributes to your success. It's not the one big thing that you do once in a month. No. It is what you do on a daily basis that cumulatively contributes towards that big thing that you want to achieve. The last person that I'm going to look at is Stephen Covey, and this is what he said. Trust is the glue of life. It is the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It is the foundational principle that holds all the relationships in our lifetimes. That is self-explanatory. A relationship cannot exist without trust. And one of the biggest things that being a man of your words creates is the trust to yourself and to others. Thank you very much for sticking around up to this point. I believe that this is going to allow us to look at life from a different perspective, majoring on keeping our own word and developing the self-respect and the self-confidence that we need to face the journey towards achieving our goals, and also the challenges that we encounter on our day-to-day basis. And also it is going to improve how we take on our relationships in all aspects of the relationship that we engage in. So let's start doing those things. Let us begin for us to create the future that we want. Again, thank you very much. And always remember to show up for your life. See you on the next one.